on the tail of Gunnar. As he's looking to make an overtake already. Down the inside he goes.
Is he gonna go? He's gonna do it!
Oh, with Hackett now up into P9. Down the inside he goes. Another aggressive move on the other Mercedes driver. Is he gonna make a mistake? Doesn't look like.
Closing. Problem is, if he goes.
Oh, that's nice for Broad Adam, moving up to P7.
As he's currently looking to gain about 3 or 4 points. Oh, and is Nelboy going to go for it down the inside of Waza? Seems like he is, and he makes up that position. Beautiful overtake by Nelboy.
12 races, multiple divisions, 20 drivers.
All that sound good? Then why not join us now ahead of the new season? The link to our Discord will be in the description, and we hope to see you on track with us.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are here for the final race of the season. I am DSummers90, your comms for this evening. We are here at the Jeddah Corniche circuit in Saudi Arabia. So, the Drivers' Championship and I believe the Constructors' Championship have been wrapped up. Let's quickly have a look at the drivers. So, Lynx is the champion with 101 points higher than second place Brandon with 130. Tonight it's just basically for people to race for pride and try and grab as many positions in the table as they can. But yeah, it should be a interesting and hopefully not crash-filled race, but turns 4, 16 and 22 are very, very precarious, especially when you have the dirty air. So, we have quite a few reserves in tonight. We have 2 drivers taking their jokers tonight to try and boost their position. I believe they are Brandon and Little Mikey are taking their jokers this evening. So we will see if Brandon can solidify his second place in the drivers. We'll see if Little Mikey can boost himself even further up the table. But now we have Stuart starting his flying lap, so we will go on board with him. Heavy braking down into turn 1. Bit of an awkward chicane for turns 1 and 2. Quickly on the power through turn 3 into turn 4. Make sure to avoid the wall on the inside there. A lot of people will take off a wing or their wheel down. Now, there we go. That's a curb you do not want to ride that Stuart has just gone over. Yeah, he's not happy with it, so he is going to let, I believe that is Kazingle going past him there, who is on a lap behind him. That is Jay Hayward. So we will keep an eye on him, since he is going to be the first person to set a lap. Now this corner here I do not like in the slightest. It's awkward and there's a Haas off in the wall. I think that may have been Pombear. There's Hayward through the DRS zone into 21 and 22. These corners are very precarious and very awkward to get correct. Into the final DRS zone. Carrying a lot of speed down to the hairpin. Heavy braking, comes off the brakes, turns in nice and tight. Gets on the throttle nice and early. Opens the DRS to come across the line. It's 29.8. That's not a bad lap for the first flyer as Pombear comes into the pits. Who else is currently on a lap? We have Bogarovsky has just started his lap, so we will go on with Hayward's teammate as NLD Rush has just put in a 29.7. That's unexpected. And Stuart has done a 152.4, but I believe that is highly unrepresentative as he backed out of his lap. So where is Brandon going to put himself on this first flyer? And he goes to provisional pole with a 28.598. It's a good lap from the McLaren driver there. Let's see. Skipper is about to start a lap. The next driver around will be Kazingle. Kept himself well away from the inside wall there. Does lose him a fair amount of time there, unfortunately. Now it's a race down to the start-finish line. Oh, and okay, that is someone going slow, and it's a 1:30.014, 0.15 even, sorry. A decent lap from Kazingle there, and Barry Bogarowski has just put himself up into P2 with a 29.3, and Benny a 28.570. So, not too far ahead of Brandon, but he will be pleased with that. And I could have... it's Benny Buno that is meant to be on his Joker. Benny is coming in after doing an installation lap on the Inters, taking out the braking board. Good luck to the rest of the drivers getting back into the pits. We will go on with Skipper, who is just now finishing his flyer. Is he happy with his flying lap? Let's see where he can put himself. Puts himself up into 8th with a 1:30.2. Not too far away from Kazingle there in the Mercedes. We have Kavolis going around on his lap. Let's watch the Ferrari. Kavolis is very much the dark horse in Division 1, as he is a Division 2 driver, but he has raced hard in Division 1 and got some decent results here as well. He's got himself a purple Sector 1 by the look of it there. Let's see if he can do even better in Sector 2. Goes around 16 and 17, very clean, very neat. Giving the walls a very wide berth here. And that is a purple Sector 2. A little bit of a slide through 21. Now he's on the final stretch to the final corner. Let's see where he can put himself. Went rather wide through the hairpin there. I wonder if that is the best way to do it, but we'll see. And it seems it is. A 1:28.457 from the Division 2 driver. Well done to the Ferrari. As we have Pombear now coming around. Division 3 driver reserving up to Division 1 today. Let's see where he can put himself. Oh, a big slide out of the final corner there. Tries to get a bit of a toe off of the back of Skipper there. And he puts himself in 6th place with a 1:29.4. I will say, I'm not a big fan of Jeddah. It's a very awkward track for me, basically because I am on controller. As we have Haywood and Stewart, the next two cars that are starting their laps. So we will stick with Haywood here. See if he can do better than the two Division 3 drivers that are currently in front of him. Very neat through Sector 1 so far. It's not a personal best, but he is almost 4 attempts up at this moment in time. Let's see what he can do. Have to be careful of that wall on the right-hand side. It juts out awkwardly into the circuit. And a lot of people have clipped that in the past, myself included, and invalidated their times. While we are here, let's... I just want to say I hope everyone who is listening is having a good evening. Hope you're all doing well. As Hayward comes up to the final corner. Tucks it in nice and tight to the apex. Gets the foot down on the throttle. Opens the DRS. Where does his time put him? 29.329, up to 6th place. Now we will go on with Stewart. And he goes fastest with a 28.449. Kavolis and Benny are not going to be best pleased about that. Talking of Benny, he is now going around. Let's see, is there anyone else who is out on track ahead of Benny that is on a flying lap? No, it looks like Benny is ahead of the pack at this moment in time. I missed the delta for Sector 1, so let's see what he does at this point as he comes through Sector 2. Currently 2.5 tenths faster than his previous lap. That is a personal best at least. Yep, it was just a personal best, not the fastest Sector 2. And he seems like he is already below 25% on the ERS. And he's not best pleased with his lap. He was going to be faster. And he was going to be better. He must have lost time in the final corner. Right, let us see. Who is the next to come across the line? Sturgio is about to start a lap. And Hayward is coming in. Brandon is going to be the next one to set a flying lap, followed by NLD Rush by the look of things. Brandon goes pole with a 28.09, and NLD Rush goes up to 6th with a 29.052. Good lap from NLD Rush there. Let's see who is going to be next on the list. It is going to be Kazingle. Is he going to get himself ahead of the 1 minute 30s? And as he comes across the line, he jumps one position to a 29.3. A good improvement, but not enough to get ahead of Hayward. He does get ahead of Pombear though, so that is a good improvement for Kazingle there. Now, someone we missed last week because I believe he wasn't in the race was Giannis. Let's see what this man can do. Let's ride on board with him as things are relatively quiet at this moment in time. As we have just under 5 minutes left of qualifying. Oh, a bit of hesitation through 16 and 17 there. That is going to cost him some time. Very close to the wall on the inside through 21. That was a great corner though. Well done to the driver for having the balls to get as close to the wall as possible. Let's see where he can put himself. A little deep into the hairpin, and he's not happy with the lap. Evidently he was not faster than his previous. So, who do we go on with now? Next will be Pombear to come across the line. So we will watch Pombear, another Division 3 driver, reserving up today, along with NLD Rush. So, I believe they are both teammates in Division 3 as well, so they might work together here. Or at least during the race. Who knows? Riding the curbs through Sector 1. Luckily not riding the death curb on the outside through that sector. It will carry you wide and take you straight off track. He's done well so far. Let's see how he does. Through 16 and 17, very neat and tidy. Looked like he went down into none on the ERS through there to get the car through. Because the car did flash red, and that is a personal best through Sector 2. So let's see what he can do in Sector 3. Will he be able to push it up the table and get a decent qualifying position? Oh, someone had lost a bit of carbon fibre, you can see on the track there. And he jumps up to 8th with a 29.197. Not a bad lap from Pombear there. He should be pretty pleased with that one. And we've got Hayward out on another lap. But he's already backed out. What is going on, Hayward? Let's see. So we have Stewart about to start a flying lap. Let's see what the reserve from Division 2 can do this evening. Had to be careful there because there was the Ferrari of Cavolis coming out of the pits, so he didn't want to wash wide. A little bit of a wobble as he went over the curbs, but seems to be stable enough. Is he down on his time? Yes, he is. He's improved by 2 tenths at this moment in time. Now he just needs the cars ahead to get out of the way, because there is traffic coming up. Oh, Brandon. That is a very awkward position to be in, I believe. No, it wasn't Brandon, it was Hayward. And looks like, I believe that was Pombear getting well out of the way there. We'll have to see if that goes to the stewards. And that might result in a race ban for next season. As this is the last race of the season 13, we are going to be going to season 14. Let's see what TGL Stewart will be able to do. He does improve, but only by a tenth. So 28.335 for the Williams reserve. Now we have Benny looking to improve. He is up by 5 tenths according to that there. As a couple of the drivers have already finished their laps. Where does Benny put himself? He puts himself in pole with a 27.8. And I know personally that that is a second faster than his TT time. So he's proving that TT is not the way to go this evening. And Benny Buno is doing an installation lap, I'm guessing. He has invalidated. Very late to come out and do an installation lap, though. Let's see who is still going around. That is Pombear. Who is behind him? That is Brandon. Goes up to a 27.8 as well as Benny. And Giannis has put himself in there with a 28.1 as well. Let's see where Skipper goes. Skipper goes up to 10th with a 29.3. So we now have NLD Rush coming around the final corner. Does 28.8. Not a bad lap. Cavolis puts himself up to 4th with a 28.2. And I believe Stuart is already done. So that is your starting grid. Benny takes pole position. Brandon on second. Giannis on third. Kavolis fourth. Stuart fifth. NLD Rush sixth. Bog in seventh. Pombear in eighth. Hayward in ninth. Skipper in 10th. Kazingle in 11th. And Mikey and Benny Buno rounding out the grid with their jokers being played this evening. So remember, if they get points tonight, any points they do get this evening will be doubled. So they're both hoping to get towards the front of the grid to boost their chances in the final of the Drivers' Championship. So there we have it, folks. Very close between the top two. Benny will be very pleased with his lap there tonight, as will Brandon. Janice 2 and almost 3/10 off of P2 there. There are quite a few gaps further back. I know that this can be a bit of a divisive track, to say the least. I know this track is... some people enjoy it immensely. Some people absolutely loathe it. I am one of the ones this year that loathes it in this game. I enjoyed it in 24 and 23. But 25, I just can't get a hang of it, to be fair. Oh. So now is the time for you to go and grab your snacks, your drinks, if you are watching live. Or even if you are watching on YouTube after the fact. Now is a good time to grab a snack, grab a drink. As the drivers sort out their strategies. This circuit is very rough on your tyres. So it's predicted to be a medium hard or a hard medium race. Potentially a 2-stop. Depending on how you want to take the race. Let's just double check I've got everything correct here. I do. Let's see what the drivers are starting on tyre-wise. Everyone's on the mediums to start. You're all boring. No one going for the alternate strategy. So if there are any predictions in the chat for who is going to win this race, put them in now while the formation lap is going on. Or even if you comment on the video if you are watching after the stream. If you do wish to join Delta T Racing, I apologise. If you do wish to join Delta T Racing, we are going to be going into Season 14. We are going to have a few weeks break, and we will be starting Season 14 in October. So you have a fair amount of time to get in to the server and get registered. If you go down below, you will find the links for Discord and everything else. So please do join the Discord, sign up, and we're always looking for new commentators, drivers, stewards, the lot. So even if you don't want to race, there are jobs for you. And even if you don't want to race or do any of that, you can become part of the community and see what goes on in the general chat and just have a laugh with the drivers. As the drivers are now coming up to the grid to line up in their grid boxes. Is anyone going to miss their grid box? That is the real question at this point. Looks like Benny's good. Brandon's rolling up. D-Rush missed his box by the look of it. And Benny Bruno is the last driver to line up. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And that was very quick lights. And away they go for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Let's see if the drivers get away nice and cleanly here. Brandon gets around the outside of Benny through the first corner. Very well done from the McLaren driver. Ballsy move there. As everyone got through cleanly. Yes, they have. Although Little Mikey and D-Rush were fighting through Sector 1 there as Mikey goes very wide. And Stewart has also done the same. So both of the Williams drivers making positions and then falling back. That is unfortunate for both of the Williams drivers there. And Janice has made up a move on Benny as well. So Benny is not relishing the track from pole position, unfortunately. Let's see, there seems to be a move. Yep, there we go. Benny Bruno up past NLD Rush. These guys are absolutely flying. A lot of people going wide through these corners. Obviously not used to how the cars feel with the fuel on board. With the extra weight. As Benny Bruno is making up positions hand over fist in the first lap. Remember, he was 13th. He is now sitting in 8th place. Brandon setting the fastest lap so far with a 1:34.106. As Stewart goes up the inside of Barry Bogarowski. Into turn 1 and 2. Looked like a clean move from what I saw, but you never know. There's always a bit of hanky-panky when it comes to Stewart. So we will see later on what is going on. And there is a gap now back to Benny Bruno. And Cavolis is round in Sector 1. That's unfortunate for the Ferrari. He has lost about 5 positions there. And Pombear has got himself past Mikey through Sector 1. So Mikey had a bad Sector 1 on lap 2. But the front 3 are trying their best to pull away from Stewart. They don't want him involved in their race. So there you go. There are the possible race strategies. A medium to hard or a medium hard. Which is probably staying right up behind him as Stewart now sets the fastest lap, taking it away from Benny. And Pombear with the fastest lap, a 1:32.888. He's absolutely flying, even though he's at the back of the grid. Let's see. Let's stay on with Bogarowski and let's see if he can catch up to the back of Stewart through Sector 1. Stewart almost hits the wall. Give me a better camera angle, game. Thank you. See? You ask and you shall receive. Haywood is right up behind Barry Bogarowski right now. The McLaren is really pushing while in the dirty air. He is trying to get past the Racing Bull as soon as he can. But it looks like he lost it a little bit through 16 and 17. Although he has a bit of a cleaner line through the DRS zone. As Bogarowski seems to be a slight cork in the bottle for these drivers at this moment in time, being 9/10 behind Stewart at this point. Oh, there must have been something happen as these drivers all bunched up. I do apologise for the coughing. I'm trying not to vape today, so I have a nicotine pouch. instead. Let us see. So we've got Brandon chasing down Giannis at this moment in time, with Stewart right behind him. Stewart's tyres are going to be screaming by the end of this stint, no doubt. Thought about the move into the hairpin, but didn't go for it. Realised he was a little bit further back than expected. Keeps it neat and tight. Oh, a little bit of a slide on the exit of 17 there. Makes it awkward for Stewart, and he does drop time to the McLaren ahead of him. Meanwhile, the McLaren behind Bogorovsky is closing in quickly. Will Hayward be able to make the move? This is a beautiful camera angle. Thank you, Cody's, for giving us this, but some of your camera angles are absolute dog shit. So there is a fair train, but it looks like Stewart has dropped out of the train, even though he is pushing and staying within the second at this point. He did not get DRS the slap. He has now dropped out of that second delta. But he's clawed his way back into it. What has happened ahead? Brandon seems to have had a bad sector 1 on lap 5 here, and it has let Stewart catch back up. As Benny is now chasing down Giannis to try and get back into first place. Because first place is really where you want to be around here, because you have the clean air. Your tyres don't wear as hard as everyone else's, and you have the full benefit of your setup in the aero. Let's see. Now Skipper has actually caught up to the back of Kazingal. He is just flirting with that second. He's not going to get the DRS, unfortunately, but Kazingal doesn't have the DRS ahead of him either. Is Pombear going to make a move from 6 tenths back? Is he going to be able to catch up? Oh, and Benny is round. Benny is round in turn 1. I don't know if that was contact or if there was a lockup. That's unfortunate for the Aston Martin driver. He is going to have to fight his way through now, as Hayward is being passed by both Kavolis and Benny Booner. It seems like Hayward might have clipped the wall, but has not got damage. Let's have a look at Benny. Does he have any damage? No, he does not. The most damage he has got at this moment is to his pride, unfortunately for him, as the teammates at Haas switch places and switch back. So there was a mistake by an LD Rush going through the long left-hander. Janice has near enough broken the DRS to Brandon behind. He is going to run away now. Does Brandon have the DRS? No, he does not. But he is staying within that second now, so he will have the DRS going into turn 1. Let's see what Brandon can do. As Benny Bruno closing in on Kavolis. Oh, Kavolis gives him the squeeze on the inside. As Benny and Kazingal are swapping places back and forth through the final corner. Benny Bruno gets himself past Kavolis and is now going to be on the hunt to try and catch up to Bogorovsky. Remember, Benny Bruno and Little Mikey are both on their jokers this evening, so they will get double points if they finish in the points. So Benny Buno is doing a stellar job to get himself into a points-paying position. As Brandon has caught up to Giannis. I wonder if Giannis had a bit of a wobble through Sector 1. At this moment in time, this and NLD Rush following his teammate are the closest battles. So we will stay on with Brandon because this is the front of the pack. Let's see if he will be able to get past Giannis this lap. Breaks considerably earlier into 21. Takes a bit of a tighter line. Into the DRS zone within 4.5 tenths now. 5 tenths after the corner exit. Let's see. Is he going to be able to get past? Which way will he go? He goes for the outside. He gets past Giannis pretty easily into turn 1. Very well done from both drivers. Nice and clean through there. Let's see. Bobrovsky is in relation to Stewart. He is losing time through Sector 1 to Stewart, unfortunately, for the racing involved. And he's got Benny Buno chasing him down. He's already caught up half a second in a lap. Benny Buno is absolutely flying around this Jeddah Corniche circuit this evening. Oh, Skipper has now got himself a 3-second time penalty, the first driver to do so this evening. How is Benny doing? He is catching up to the back of Haywood, and Kavolis and Benny Buno are swapping positions. And it looks like Kavolis will have to give that back because he was off track when he made that pass. Does give it back in the DRS zone, so I doubt that will come down to a penalty. Haywood is trying to catch the back of Kavolis now, even though both of them have the DRS. Oh, Haywood goes deep into the final corner. That's unfortunate for the McLaren, but it does give Benny a chance to catch up to the back of it. And now Giannis is into the pits, so it looks like Giannis is going to be going for either the undercut or a potential 2-stop. He is now onto the hard tyres. Although, on this circuit, I have seen drivers try to do this from here, and they end up with a puncture on the hard tyres by the last lap. So we will see. That looked like Stewart going very deep in Sector 1 there, as does Haywood. Benny thought about the inside line, and he holds it out and gets it done, maybe? No, Kavolis is now on the inside. And Benny gets the move done. What a beautiful move. Well done, that man. I am going to save that as a replay. We will come back to that in a little bit. NLD Rush is catching up to the back of Skipper, but Skipper is also catching up to the back of Pombert. And as I say that, he loses 3 tenths to the driver ahead. So this means D-Rush is going to have DRS, but Pombert is... DRS is going to be for D-Rush, while Skipper is not going to have any going through the next sectors. Will D-Rush be able to catch up, as we have Stewart and Benny Buno and Benny all into the pits from near the front of the grid. This promotes Pombert, Skipper, and D-Rush is also in. So D-Rush is going to try and undercut his 2 Division 3 compatriots. Now Kavolis is chasing down Haywood, and he clips the wall on the inside. He's lucky not to get damage. If he has any damage at all, give me a better camera angle, please. No visible damage to the Ferrari. He did clip the wall though. Giannis is now 4 seconds ahead of Stewart after hitting 1 lap earlier. I think Brandon will have to come in at the end of this lap to cover off Giannis, just to be within a shout of the win this evening. Let's see what Brandon does. Will he come in this lap? It looks like he is. He's going to come in the end of lap 9. At the end of lap 10 even. As does Bogorovsky, Hayward. Kavolis stays out. Pombear comes in. Skipper comes in. So Giannis is now going to take the net lead of the race again. And he is now still 4 seconds ahead of Stewart, with Brandon being dropped by Stewart, or jumped by Stewart, should I say. Benny Buno has come out in the same position he went in at 5th, and Benny has come out in 6th position so far. Although these drivers will jump up a single position when Kavolis comes in, as he is only 4 seconds ahead of Giannis. Benny Buno is now within the second of Brandon ahead. He will hope that he will be able to get the DRS of the car ahead. Let's see. He should be within. Yes, that looks like he will have the DRS for this sector and subsequent sectors if he doesn't make a mistake. So everything's sort of spread out except for these 3 drivers here, with Brandon, Benny Buno and M. Benny. Will Kavolis come in this lap? And it looks like Kazingal is going for the 2-stop. He's done a medium. Brandon gets himself next to Benny Buno. Kavolis is coming in. What's he going on to? He's going onto the hard tyres, so I believe this is a 1-stop. And he is changing that front wing, so I believe he had damage from when he clipped the wall. And he has dropped down significantly compared to the drivers who had undercut him. He's dropped all the way back to 12. That is a massive drop for Kavolis. Let's see, where is the fight? So it's Benny Buno, Brandon and M. Benny in a fight at this moment in time. We'll keep an eye on this fight as the laps progress. And I didn't even notice Hayward got himself a 3-second time penalty as well. Or is that... Yeah, it's only a 3 seconds, so we can get rid of the tyres for now. The real question is, who is going medium, hard, medium? Are they planning to go to the end on these hards? And if so, will the hards make it? Because, as I said, I have witnessed in a league race, someone tried this from, I think it was lap 8 or 9, and they had a puncture by the final lap of the race, and they actually lost 7 positions due to it, and they were running in first. As Benny gets himself past Benny Buno in a nice clean race, good bit of racing from both the drivers, gave each other space, understood the assignment, they knew they were both in the DRS. Not much else could be done. Will M. Benny be able to get himself past Brandon and get himself up on the podium? Oh, a bit of a wobble through Sector 1 for the Aston Martin. I don't think he's enjoying the hard tyres at this moment in time. That was a bit of a big wobble as Jack Kazingal gets himself 3-second time penalty. Come on, lads. I'm saying this, I'm likely to do it tomorrow, but you don't want to be getting a 3-second around here because that puts him right in the clutches of Barry Bogorovsky. Bogorovsky only needs to be within that 3 seconds and gets the position. Now Hayward is closing down on NLD Rush in the Haas ahead of him. Does he have the patience? Yes, he does. He does not go for the dive into that corner because that would be a murder-suicide if he had tried to pull that off. I think the smart play here would be wait until the next DRS zone. Yes, here he goes. Is he going to be able to make the move into turn 1 here? No, he's not. He's not got enough straight line speed. It looks like NLD Rush has lower wings. But saying that, Benny Buno has dropped back from M. Benny. I hate these camera angles. Give me a better one. Thank you. There you can see the gap there. So Benny Buno, unless he can catch up to the back of the Aston Martin, is not going to have DRS and drop even further back. As the Aston Martin driver is trying to make up for the mistake that he had early on in the race. As he's now closing up on the back of the McLaren of Brandon ahead of him. Is he going to be able to make the move into turn 1 come the start of the next lap? He's around 5 tenths, 5.5 tenths behind. Now up to 4.5 tenths. Let's see if he can make this move work. Opens the DRS. He's not burning the battery, so I think he's just going to sit behind this time around. Just recharging the battery, making sure that he can make the move when he needs to. And Kazingal is in already, so he's going to be doing 10 laps on the hard tyres. It has put him down into 12th. Is little Mikey going to be able to catch up to him and get past him? It doesn't look like Mikey's been enjoying Jeddah today. He's not been having fun playing around at the back, and he's still behind Kazingal on fresher tyres. That's unfortunate for the Williams driver. Stewart is closing in on Giannis though. It was about 6 seconds when we last looked, and it is now down to 2.5 seconds. So Stewart is absolutely pushing the car to its limit to try and catch up to Giannis ahead. Back to Benny, who is the closest driver at this moment in time. Oh, I say that. Kavolis looks like he is going to make a move through this DRS zone. Is he going to go for it? Is he going to be brave? Or is he going to be smart? He doesn't go for the move right now. He understands that that's not a corner to make a move unless you're desperate. We will go back up with Benny here. Does not make the move again. And Pombert and D-Rush swap positions as D-Rush has Austin Powers himself. He's lucky he reversed up when he did, because he would have been crashed into. He's lost the majority of his front wing, so that is unfortunate for the Haas driver. He was having a good race and would have been in the points. As Brandon is now catching up to the back of Stewart, who has dropped back from Giannis by about half a second now. We'll keep an eye on these three because this is going to be our podium sitters. It's the decider for P2 and 3. as Giannis has absolutely run away with this race at this moment in time. As Brandon goes to the inside, makes the move early, gets the job done. But he is not going to have DRS down the start-finish straight. So are both of these drivers going to be able to get past him? Stewart retakes the position, but Benny stays behind. Just didn't quite have the straight line speed from the Aston Martin to make the move there. Although these guys are going to have very worn tyres by the end of the race. We have another 8 laps to go, I believe it is. 8 or 9. Let's have a look at the surface of those tyres as they come into a medium speed corner. They are starting to look a little bit rough. So we will see what will happen with these tyres. Will they be able to make it to the end of the race? Especially for Giannis, considering he did pit first. He was the first driver to go into the pits. When we come up to the hairpin, as it is the slowest corner, and Stewart picks up a 3-second time penalty, he did not want to do that. That means Brandon and Benny can sit behind and not worry at this point in time. But Brandon makes the move again into the final corner. I don't think he realises where the DRS detection point is. It is the line on the exit of the final corner, meaning Stewart now has DRS again. And Benny doesn't go for the inside, he doesn't dive it, he's playing this smart. He does not want to cause issues, as Stewart has a bit of a wobble out of turn 2 there. I am surprised at this moment in time that no one has actually clipped the inside of turn 4. As who was that who went very wide? It looked like it was M. Benny there. Let's go on board with Giannis and see what his tyres are looking like. You start to see blisters on the left-hand side there. You can see that quite clearly as D-Rush picks up a 3-second time penalty. Have to be careful of that around here, but I don't think he really minds too much, as he is 13 seconds behind P12 at this moment in time. So is the Aston Martin going to be able to make the move on Brandon this time around? Brandon has learnt from his mistake and he hasn't made the move before the final corner. Let's see if both of these drivers can get themselves past Stewart this time around. Oh, he goes round the outside, goes deep though, and cuts the inside of the corner. So they're going to have to wait yet another lap to see if they can get past, as Haywood is now chasing down the back of Bogarovsky. Seemed to get himself very close, and Benny's got himself a 3-second time penalty. You do not want to be doing that if you are in the fight for a podium position. You will lose out big time. Because at this point, the highest he could get is P3. And that's even if he finishes ahead of Stewart. But he would have to get ahead of Stewart and make a gap back to Brandon and Benny Buno, who are both within the 3 seconds of the 2 cars ahead. That's unfortunate for the Aston driver, but that's the way the cookie crumbles, I guess. But he is closing in on Stewart now, so let's see, is he going to make the move stick into turn 1? Oh, massive slide out of the final corner there. That is not how you want to put the power down. So he's going to stay behind Stewart for this lap and hopefully get a better run on the next lap, as Hayward finally gets himself past Barry Bogorowski. Always a clean race between these two. They always respect each other. Kazingle gets himself past Skipper for the final points paying position. As D-Rush has got himself past Mikey as well. And now Brandon has dropped back behind Benny Buno. So it looked like Brandon might have had a bit of a wobble through Sector 1. But this has created a gap up to Benny and Stewart. There is now over a 2-second gap between them. So this is exactly what Benny and Stewart want at this moment in time. They want to use each other's DRS to get away from the cars behind. That way they will have the podium shored up if they can gain another second on the cars behind. I don't think Brandon will have any of that. He will want to get past Benny Buno and force his way up onto that podium spot. But Benny Buno is dropping back from the cars ahead. So the Williams and the Aston Martin need to work together here. They need to push to get themselves that 3-second gap. As Bogorowski is sitting behind Hayward at this moment in time, using the DRS to stay with the driver. We will keep an eye on the delta between the two drivers there. Let's have a look at penalties at this moment in time. So, everyone who has a penalty is only on 3 seconds at this moment in time. Although D-Rush and Mikey have both done 2 stops and are now on the medium tyres. So they are hoping in the last few laps that they can absolutely blitz into the points positions. Although they are 21 and 31 seconds behind Skipper, respectively. So far, our biggest winner is going to be Benny Buno, who is up 8 positions. Our biggest loser at this moment in time is NLD Rush, who is 6 positions down. As Hayward gets himself another 3-second penalty. That is not going to help him in the slightest. That is going to drop him back to 9th. As we see Benny and Stewart going side by side for a split second. They really do not want to be fighting. They want to be helping each other out. They want to be swapping the DRS just to get away from Brandon and Benny Buno. But then again, I have raced against Stewart. He isn't big on teamwork, especially when it comes to a driver that's not in his team. He likes to give you little love taps and speed up kisses, I believe are what he calls them. Little nudges in the back of the car. And Benny has had enough of him and has made the pass before the braking zone. That was a really nice pass from the Aston Martin. But this does mean Stewart now has the DRS going into the final corner. And it has let Brandon catch up to the back of them, but not quite enough to have DRS at this moment in time. Brandon got the DRS. He managed to get the 1 second time. And Stewart makes contact with Benny and puts him into the wall. That was not as clean as it could have been from the Williams driver there. The Aston Martin is not going to be best pleased because this has actually cost them time to the cars behind. So they're both going to drop out of the podium positions. At this rate, Brandon is going to be in second. And Benny Buno is going to pick up third place. On the day he takes his joker as Stewart goes very wide out of the corner there. And Benny gets a much better drive out of the long left-hander there. Let's see. Benny is now burning the battery to try and catch up to the back of Stewart as best he can before the next DRS zone. But he has to watch out for that behind him as he makes the move on Stewart really early into the DRS zone. Very well done from the Aston Martin. But is he going to be able to keep the position? He's very low on battery at this point. It looks like Stewart might be able to catch up to him and make the pass if he makes the dive. He decides not to go for the move this time around. But either way, at this moment in time, it means that both Benny and Stewart drop out of podium positions as Benny has a wobble through turn 4. His tyres are not looking great at this moment in time. How are Giannis's tyres looking up ahead? As Stewart and Brandon swap places, Stewart gets himself another time penalty. I don't know if they came together or not, but now Benny Buno has got through as well. So it is now all down to Benny Buno. Not Benny Buno, I apologise. And Benny to try and break away. Since he does have a gap between himself and Brandon, he has to make sure he cannot get into that DRS. And in the next 2 laps, make up at least a second, 1.7, 1.9 seconds. To try and get that 3-second gap that he so desperately needs right now. I mean, even if he can make a gap back to Benny Buno, he will end up with a podium. As who is that? That's Giannis. He's dropped back. What has happened to Giannis through the final corner? His tyres look absolutely wrecked at this moment in time. You can see all the bobbles on the tyres. Will he get a puncture on this final lap? We will wait and see. We will go on board with Benny Buno as it stands, as he is going to be our final podium sitter as the timing table sits at this moment in time. But we will keep an eye on Giannis as well on the map. Make sure that he doesn't spin or lose a tyre. I am surprised though, there have not been any safety cars throughout this entire race. 25 laps without a safety car. I wonder if any of the drivers have been under-fueled. Will they run out of fuel before the end of this race? I will have to ask my teammate who is currently in the Aston Martin. As Bogorovsky gets himself past Hayward, and so does Pombet and Cavolis. It looks like Hayward had an issue going through Sector 2. But we have Giannis coming up to the final corner, and that's a little bit late from Mikey. He crashes on the final lap, and Giannis comes across the line to finish in first on the final race. And Brandon gets P2. Benny Buno finishes in P3. And Benny gets P4, but finished P2 on circuit. Bogorovsky gets 5th. Pombet in 6th. Great race from the Division 3 driver. Cavolis in 7th. Hayward in 8th. Kazingal in 9th. And Stewart coming across the line in 10th, with Skipper closing up that gap, almost making it. So he was only 6.5 tenths off of Stewart at the end of the race there. So unlucky not to get a points position there, and D-Rush rounds out the grid. That was a very short Jeddah race, surprisingly enough, mainly because there were no safety cars. I am surprised by that. But well done to Giannis. As soon as he got into P1 and did the undercut, he was absolutely away. He knew he was going to win. Well done to the Greek driver. And well done to Brandon and Benny Buno especially, coming from P13 all the way up to P3 to get double points as well. So he should be moving up in the driver's standings at the end of that race and at the end of the season. There we go. We have Giannis, race winner. Fastest lap, and Benny. Driver of the day, of course, it's Benny Buno. Most overtakes was Giannis. And the cleanest driver was Bogorovsky. I'm guessing he had 0 warnings to get that. Well done to all the drivers this evening. Well done to all of the drivers this season. There we have it. That is all of the drivers there. So we will go over to the So I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone for watching. Thank you for being here. Hope everyone enjoyed the race. My commentary notwithstanding. Well done to all of the drivers. Well done to ERT Links for closing out the season. I think it was last week for both constructors and the drivers. Well done to him. Well done to Giannis for getting the win this evening. And as I said before, Division 1 will be back for Season 14 in a few weeks' time. If you wish to keep yourself up to date with when and where, please join the Discord below. Tomorrow night, we will have Division 2 and Division 3, 8 PM GMT. I believe next season we will be going back down to 2 divisions instead of 3. Unless we get a massive influx of drivers wishing to drive and wishing to be full-time drivers. But yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed the season. And I will hopefully be back for commentary next season. We will see what happens. And yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed the season. So thank you everyone for watching. Hope you all have a wonderful evening. Good night.